Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another quick pick prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the middleweight bout between Albert Duraev versus Caio Bittencourt. So first off, I looked at the first thing that stands out to me on what's the company that stands out to me about Bittencourt. Either way, I'm just flat out I'm leaning to Duraev. I'm picking Duraev. Then like so 25 seconds in, you already know who I'm picking, and you could just X out if you want to. You want to hear more? Hear more. But as far as at this point, the first thing that stand out, the stuff that stand out to me about Bittencourt first off is that he lost to Tiago Traitor, who was like a 145 guy, not even the biggest 145 guy, and Kyle Bittencourt looked like he could be a heavyweight if he wanted to be. I'm not saying he'd be a big heavyweight or a great heavyweight. I'm not even saying he'd be a great light heavyweight or will be. His competition has been beyond mediocre. That's a big reason. That's really all I need to say to lean against him. And from the skills I've seen, like he got some decent power. That's always could be a game changer. And looking at his opponent, Albert Duraev, I'm not. This fight could be a lock, but I think it's going to just end up being a high, maybe even a low. I'm saying it's going to be high. I'm going to be a high prediction, but it can be a lock. Because when I look at Albert Duraev, he's not like he's the most clean, polished striker. And when you need to be a lock, you got to be like shut down. You got to be clean, polished. Don't not leave too many opportunities for your opponent to really get in the fight. This guy like the chance of his opponent winning really aren't there. The guy's offensive solid. He's defensive. He got his defense is conscious. Or as the case, the guy he wrestling, he fighting guy zero grappling, and he had like a super stud, a wrestler. Like gotta be like something that's where it's like without a doubt, or without much doubt, or without much chance, or another opponent winning, like to be a lock. And this not much of a lock. I say this is a high because definitely got the experience, definitely got the skills, but he's going against a BJJ person. Striking is still pretty raw, but the power is there, and striking is getting much better. Competition, you gotta see it tested. But that's the questionable part. We don't know how good he is until we see him against good competition. And I think that power will translate to anyone. That dude pretty muscled out, has some pretty decent power. I see some fundamentals coming in there. I start saying his, the basics coming in there real sharp on him. I'm not saying too sharp, but they coming in. I see them building on him. And if he could work on that, this opportunity can definitely upset Duraev in this one. Duraev can be pretty sloppy at times, like that Russian style, swing big shots, take you that muscle you, drag you to the ground. And I'm not saying like he's no super. And what I'm saying is I'm not seeing him like none of these super tier Russians where like their wrestling is not only are they powerful and strong, but their technique is so clean. His technique for the most part, what I've seen is pretty basic. So nothing like phenomenal, not no real great aggressive or pace or a mixture of great jiu-jitsu with his wrestling, like blending his already powerful wrestling with jiu-jitsu. So I'm not really saying that next level where I say, oh, this guy can really do something in the division. I can see him beat some people, but I don't see him going very far. Especially with is the takedown defense in the sport evolves. And it's not like just being strong and doing basic wrestling gonna get you. You gotta be smart. You gotta set things up. He does try to set up, but I'm saying like, well, a lot of stuff I see is muscle, and I see kind of basic wrestling with some muscle and force. Striking looks more evolved, more polished, but definitely a lot of opens. He has been knocked out a couple times in his career by people that aren't really the greatest knockout artists. So that's why I say it's not a lock and that stuff. And also the fact that he's going against the grappler. But either way, to be quick to the point, I just think Albert Durev's experience should help him a lot. He's been there with much better competition compared to his opponents. His opponent's been fighting like might as well be street fighting tourists. Like what does that to do? I'm forgetting that dude, but. Yeah, he was a fighter. His dad, his son was a fighter, or a pro fighter, but either way, he was the son of a street fighter. But whatever the case, he's basically been fighting competition level. He's been basically fighting tourists. That's the level of competition he's been facing. And outside of that, I think for Tiago Traitor, probably early in his career, I think Tiago Traitor was like 1-1 or 2-2 or something at the time. So even then, didn't fight him at the best. And again, a 145er, and not a big 145er. So there's a lot of questions about Caio Bittencourt, but I do see him as like a wild card here, but ultimately I can't lean to him. I just feel like Duraev has experience. The skills seemingly there, and it's a skill set that can guarantee you success at most levels of the sport. I can't see him going very much further, but I think he has all the skills he needs to beat a guy like Bittencourt, who is still very much raw and also hugely untested. I can see him scoring some takedowns on him, maybe controlling top position, just being more active, landing more shots, and just making the better decisions out there because he has experience being there with world-class competition. He's been there with some guys that are at the top of PFL. He's been there with some guys that's doing pretty well in the UFC. Beat some of them, lost to some of them, but been in there. Whereas Bittencourt, he's been there with Traitor, got dominated I think twice. But yeah, like experience is not there, so I'm gonna lean to Duraev, and I'm gonna lean to him to get a decision victory. I think like what's his name? He got some strength. I think he got some power, and I think Duraev is gonna respect that. And yeah, I just think that's gonna. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna stick to decision with this one. So in this one, I have Albert Duraev via decision.